At the Provo airport, the impact this morning as investigators tried to figure out how it happened. And one of the busiest travel periods begins today. What you need to know if you're hitting the road this Thanksgiving. And sometimes it's hard to tell how good a professional athlete is when comparing them to other pro athletes. Look at the average Joe, well, our Alex Cabrero, next to an Olympian speed skater.
Live and streaming. This is KSL Today.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us for KSL News Now on this Tuesday morning. I'm Lori Pritchard. Deja Brown is watching our traffic. This is a very, very busy day for travelers today. Matt Johnson, a lot of people watching the forecast.
Yes, watching closely because especially over the weekend, we got a little something moving in, but it doesn't look very strong. So that's good news for travelers. Today, we're actually going to see less haze, and that's because of a dry cold front that swept through northern Utah last night. Didn't do much for us, but it's got some high clouds in the wake of it out there right now. Thanksgiving, high pressure's in place. And guess what? I've got mild weather statewide. Not a strong storm system expected this weekend because recent model trends have backed off the idea that it could be a substantial storm. So we've figured out some things in the last 24 hours with that storm system. Right now, we do have high clouds across Utah. Temperatures are cold in the 30s. So plan on a 33 at 7 a.m. That's right now. You get out towards the lunch hour 44 and into the afternoon. Highs will top in the upper 40s. Deja?
Matt, thanks so much. Good morning to you. Let's go ahead and get you out the door. As you're waking up and heading out, we are now accident-free after two early morning crashes. The first was eastbound on the 201 freeway in Magna, and the second was here along this stretch I-15 southbound near 7 South in Salt Lake City. We have returned to average speeds here and thankfully not seeing any major impacts. If you're coming out of Utah County this morning, live look to I-15 near University Avenue in the Provo area. Your average speeds along this stretch are 74 miles per hour. Big thing this morning, of course, is going to be a major travel day. We are tracking some delays coming out of Tooele this morning. We'll take a look at that coming up in just a little bit, and we'll take a look at your drive times if you're heading to the airport.
All right, Deja, thank you. Buckle up. It's a big day, big crowds at the airport and on the road. Today begins the Thanksgiving travel rush as Americans are headed out of town once again in record numbers. News specialist Brian Carlson live at the Salt Lake City International Airport. All right, Brian, any stress? Did you see people like sweating, running? What's happening?
There's always a little bit of that, right, Lori? I mean, there's some people who are like really in a hurry to make sure they make their flights, but I'm in a good spot here where you're seeing a lot of people giving themselves a lot of time to be able to make those flights, and a lot of people having where they're going is really a fun destination. So people are going to Disneyland, they're going back home with family, they're doing vacations to Hawaii, Florida, Samoa. That was another one I talked to today. So a lot of people all headed out for the holiday, very varied on where they're going. And there's a lot of people headed out there with them. So according to AAA, 82 million people all headed out for Thanksgiving here for the holiday. At least 50 miles from home between now and Monday. That's 1.5 million more than last Thanksgiving and a new travel record. Most of those people, they're actually hitting the road. 73 million people expected to drive, 6 million people expected to fly. Some of those numbers could change if people decide to switch plans last minute over the flight cuts and uncertainty from the government shutdown, but still expected to be a record year with a lot of people on the move. So where are you headed?
I'm heading to Redding, California.
To see who?
My family, they all live there.
His aunt and uncle, we've not had Thanksgiving with for a while. Well, never. And so we are going to Florida.
It's fun, and it's super awesome because the weather is like different, and it's sunny, and I get to go to the beach all day.
Now, the most popular destinations are Orlando, New York, Anaheim, or LA, and then Hawaii. So that's how locally. And then you look at the international flights. Paris is really popular, Cancun, Australia, Barcelona, just to name a few. So it feels like everybody's really in a good mood. I really haven't had any issues looking at, you see the security line here behind me. There's not been any point this morning where it's really stretched out really long. But as you know, that's going to change. The airport telling us that they're really seeing it ramp up for tomorrow. 60,000 people will be in and out of here throughout the Salt Lake Airport tomorrow. The key takeaway, if you are flying or if you're driving, give yourself a lot of extra time and leave early, Lori. That's the plan.
Yeah,
back to you.
Absolutely. All right, quick question for you. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy talked about how he wanted people to dress up now when they go to the airport. No more leggings, no flip-flops. Are you seeing that?
Well, I have not seen a lot of people who are taking it and buttoning things up a little more than normal. I have seen a lot of people, because it's early, right, leaving in their pajamas. I saw a couple kids, young kids right through here. Look, you got to just make sure to keep the peace if you're a family. I don't know if you're getting everyone in a suit and tie, if you get a 2-year-old on a flight, right? I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, no. Amen to that. You just want to keep the peace. All right, Brian, thank you. Live from the Salt Lake International Airport this morning. Things looking pretty good. All right, another headlines this morning happening right now. The family of Dylan Rounds and Gabby Petito are uniting to boost public safety awareness. Rounds and Petito were both victims of high-profile murders. East Idaho News is reporting that their parents are coming together to hold a discussion on public safety at the College of Eastern Idaho December 1st. That event will also include training for local law enforcement, focused on digital forensics and other technology-based investigative tools. And this morning, there's a growing memorial set up in Cache County for multiple teens involved in a tragic car crash. 17-year-old Lalea Fiafia was in a car with 4 others that lost control and went into oncoming traffic. Fiafia and 14-year-old Xylee Hutchinson were killed. 3 others were hurt. Utah Highway Patrol says none of the teens were wearing a seatbelt. Fiafia leaves behind 2 siblings and his mother.
Very outgoing person, and that's why everybody loved him. So he'll definitely be missed.
A GoFundMe has been set up to help Fiafia's family as they move ahead with funeral plans. Other accounts have been set up for Hutchison and 2 other teens who were hurt in that crash. You can find all of that information on our website, ksltv.com. The Provo airport now reopening today after a small plane caught fire. This exclusive video right here from Chopper 5 showing the aftermath from Monday's fire. And you can see all of the firefighting foam still on the runway there. Provo police say 4 people were on board that plane. 1 person was taken to the hospital. The plane was heading to California, but turned around just 10 minutes into the flight. Provo police tell us there were many cancellations both in and out to expect delays as well out of the Provo airport. If you do have a flight, be sure to check with your airline on the status of your trip. 2 men are in jail following 2 separate shootings in Ogden over the weekend. The first happening Saturday night near the 700 block of Grant Avenue. Police say a driver called after a man who was standing in the middle of the road and fired a gun as she passed by. Police say they tracked down and arrested 23-year-old Tyrone Smith. They say hours later near 12th Street and Wall, 23 rounds were fired from an AR-style rifle at a gathering of car enthusiasts. Police arrested 19-year-old Tyson Palmer. No one was hurt in either case. Ogden's police chief releasing a statement saying this kind of behavior will not be tolerated, and those who engage in this type of conduct will be prosecuted to the fullest extent allowed by the law. Park City finalizing the results of its tightly contested mayoral election. Ryan Dickey is certified as the mayor-elect. The city confirmed Dickey on the right of your screen here as the majority vote by a very tight margin. We're talking 50.1%. City officials say the recount came out exactly the same as the general election. Jack Rubin requested the recount after initially trailing by just 7 votes to City Council member Dickey. Happening today, a big step forward for 3 newly created school districts in Utah County. The first school board members elected to represent Timpanogos, Lake Mountain, and Aspen Peaks will be sworn in and officially assume their positions. Each district has 7 members who will now take over operations from the Alpine School District, which is being split into the 3 smaller districts.
All right, taking a look at your weather real quick here. Folks, as you head out the door, or maybe you're not traveling today, maybe you're staying home and Thanksgiving is at your place, getting the turkey ready and whatnot. 38 in Provo, it's 33 in Salt Lake. So it's chilly, that trip to the store this morning. 37 in Price, 24 in Cedar City, and a 39 even for St. George. Beautiful color starting to show up here as the sun comes up. Not a ton of haze, but it's still out there. We've seen improvement because of last night's cold front. So look at Cache Valley out to Tremonton. You get into Weber and Box Elder counties, even all the way down to Davis. Air quality sensors have now shifted into the green. Great news. That's also the case for Salt Lake Valley, and it's all thanks to a cold front that swept through last night. You'll notice in Utah Valley, though, we're struggling to get rid of that gunky air, and that's because the cold front really only impacted Salt Lake City northward. Temperatures today, as a result of the front, are down a little bit from yesterday. Coming up in just a few, though, temperatures are going to rebound just in time for Thanksgiving. But what about that lingering storm chance after Thanksgiving? We'll talk about that, too, coming up.
Sounds great, Matt. Thanks so much. Let's get you out the door this morning. Like we mentioned, we are starting to see some congestion building coming out of Tooele County this morning. Take a look at your screen. This is I-80 eastbound coming out of Lake Point. From this point over to the 201 freeway on-ramp, we are seeing some heavy congestion building. Take a look further north here, or further east, actually. We are seeing some delays starting to build. So, of course, if you need to head out now, give yourself some extra time and maybe go ahead and skip some of the things that may be holding you back this morning. As you're heading out, we're going to take a quick look at our camera here. This is I-80, just north of I-80 near the airport. We are looking fantastic here. If you have a flight to catch, make sure you're checking your flight times, but no major impacts are going to be involved as you head out the door. Taking a look at the 201 freeway, we're relatively quiet, but seeing some congestion building as you travel northbound along Mountain View Corridor. We're checking on that coming up in just a bit, Lori.
All right, Deja, thank you. UDOT adding another social media branch to help drivers across the state. This latest one is focused on helping you plan trips to Powder Mountain, Nordic Valley, and Snow Basin. You can follow UDOT Ogden Valley on Instagram, Facebook, and X. Messages will ramp up during the winter season, but updates will continue year-round. UDOT has recently added social media pages for other high-traffic areas along the Wasatch Back and Zion National Park. They've also had one for Cottonwood Canyons for several years now. Crews are making some big progress on a bridge over I-15 in Farmington. The construction project has forced teams to shut down the highway several times this year as they build an overpass and on and off ramps to the interstate. Farmington City says that bridge opened up to traffic on Monday. The entire project, though, is not expected to be done until the end of next year. Utah officials are warning you about the dangers of jumping into cold water. It was back in January of this year when two teenage boys fell through the ice in Ogden. One made it out, the other did not. The Utah Department of Natural Resources says anyone still recreating on the water this time of year needs to have the proper gear.
We want people to wear their life jacket. We want people to be prepared.
Officials also say if someone does fall in, do not jump in after them. Instead, call for help. Dozens of community members gathered to feed 5,000 Utahns experiencing homelessness and food insecurity.
Diabetic, so for instance, I was searching for a meal today because I really haven't eaten anything. Without this event today, I probably would have lost all hope.
The Larry H. Miller family spearheaded this event that offered more than just a meal. Folks could also get health care screenings, clothing, and haircuts. City leaders helped serve the line of those waiting for food. Steve Miller with Larry H. Miller Company says this dinner isn't just about one meal.
There is really no better way to stay connected than to be with the people in your community. I really believe in being a builder. I believe in making things better. And I don't think that it's possible to do that without being a part of things.
Miller says they do this because the need is great and there is plenty to go around.
All right, last night's sunset was gorgeous. Sometimes when you get that haze mixed in with some cloud cover, it can actually really light things up. We saw lots of orange, a little bit of purple showed up. Thanks, Brad D, for the credit there on that one. High pressure is controlling the weather. I mean, this guy doesn't want to go away. He's sending all the storms up and over into Seattle and then down towards the backside into the Great Lakes and Midwest. All the meanwhile, we just pick up some mild weather and some clouds here and there. Let's go through the travel forecast. Today is a perfect day for travel. Unless you're headed way north and west up into the Pacific Northwest, it's really the only spot that we're talking about some wet weather. That pushes inland on Wednesday. Notice some snow showers here at higher elevations. So tomorrow, if you're headed north, you might run into something out there towards Jackson. High pressure in the southwest protects us through Thursday. Thanksgiving Day looks very mild for the northern Wasatch. Got a low swinging in Friday, Black Friday. If you're traveling north, well, we've got another round of snow expected. Some of that might work into the state of Utah, but really in the form of Valley Rain Mountain snow. This is Saturday, 4 o'clock. We clear things out, but a second system may be impacting us on Sunday. So if you have plans to travel home Sunday, especially on I-15 here, well, there might be a little something waiting for you. It does not look like a big storm system because this pattern right now is not favorable for strong storms in Utah, but it could be impactful. So 56 in Salt Lake on on Thanksgiving Day. We keep Turkey Day in the 60s for St. George, Utah. All right, here we go, Central Utah. 40s and 50s for highs. Dry weather expected. More sunshine down in that southern half. If you're headed that way, you are in the clear. I-80, I-15, the 84 looks really good. Headed up into Idaho today. Down in the Wasatch Front, if you're traveling across that area, also looking dry on the roads. St. George, you got 60s all the way through Friday. We drop off with maybe a slight rain chance on Sunday. That's not bad travel down there. Wasatch Front, we've got a 47 to 50s. Look at that red 56. That's mild, 10 above the normal for Thanksgiving. Best day for something to hit the ground, Sunday, snow showers.
So much. Let's get you out the door this morning. We've already talked about some of the delays that we're seeing coming out of Tooele this morning. So let's take a quick look at the rest of your arteries. If you're traveling I-15 northbound, you're looking great from 146 south in Draper all the way up to 6 south in Salt Lake City. Now, we are starting to see just a little bit of congestion, the westbound of I-215 traveling in the southbound direction between 7 south and around the I-80 interchange. Of course, we are dealing with some lane restrictions there due to ongoing construction. Looking great coming out of Park City this morning, 26 minutes as you travel to the airport. And taking a closer look coming out of Utah County, you're looking great from University in Provo all the way up to Point of the Mountain. Haven't seen any major impacts. And your other main arteries, Redwood Road, Pioneer Crossing, all moving up to speed. Just saw some minor congestion right along this stretch. This is near 2100 North in the Lehigh area. It's on the southbound side, so just watch out for a broken down car that's blocking your right shoulder, but thankfully not causing any major impacts, Lori.
All right, Deja, thank you. In consumer headlines this morning, there are more U.S. home buyers who are taking a financial gamble before signing on the dotted line. Economists say there's been an increase in Americans taking out adjustable rate mortgages. Unlike fixed rate mortgages, ARM loans can provide people with short-term breathing space from increased borrowing costs. But there is a trade-off because after a set period of time, usually just a few years, an ARM rate will reset with the current market. That means if rates do rise, a homeowner's monthly payment could potentially surge upward. If you're stumped on what to ask Santa to bring you this Christmas, have you considered maybe a vacation? Now is the best time to plan a trip and save on a day known as Travel Tuesday, a week from today. Travel experts say the Tuesday after Thanksgiving is when you can score major discounts on flights, cruises, hotel stays, even travel packages. And unlike Black Friday, these bargains only last 24 hours. Federal lawmakers discussing an incoming spike in healthcare premiums. A COVID-era policy which subsidized premiums is set to expire at the end of the year. A nonpartisan health policy research group called KFFA predicts people would pay more than double next year if those subsidies do expire. This issue sparked the government shutdown ending just weeks ago. And in a town hall about the shutdown earlier this month, Utah Senator John Curtis said discussions about those subsidies had already been taking place.
To be had about should Congress step in and deal with these expiring subsidies for some people who desperately need them. All of those conversations were going on before the shutdown, and as a matter of fact, very intently on a bipartisan basis.
Curtis says the subsidies extend $0 premiums to Americans making $120,000 a year with 4 children. He says insurance brokers have signed people up without telling them. Senate Republicans have agreed to hold a mid-December vote on pushing for an extension for those subsidies to allow more time to find a long-term solution on keeping health care affordable. A Cache Valley woman has a strong tie to a holiday tradition. We're talking about the National Dog Show, and you can watch it right here on KSL. That show will be on right after the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on Thursday. Humans and dogs alike watch the show every year. Pat Jenkins knows what it's like to be in it, judging some of the best dogs in the country. She's been showing Alaskan Malamutes with the American Kennel Club for a really long time. But while she isn't there this year, she will be watching because this is her sport.
For as long as they probably had it on after the parade. It's like, we're going to watch football. I said, not me. I'm watching the dog show. You know?
Yeah, a lot of people do. Jenkins says while the competition can be fierce during the show, there's a lot of camaraderie afterwards. She will be judging the national championship show in Orlando next month.
Hey, are you making preparations for Thanksgiving this morning? Well, I've got good news. If you've got to make some last-minute runs to the store, Well, I've got mostly clear skies down in St. George, a couple of high clouds, but it is dry. And the same for northern Utah. There's Salt Lake Valley, just some high wispy clouds, nothing special. Your forecast, 47 today, Wednesday 53, and Thanksgiving Day, 56 degrees, partly cloudy conditions, but of course we'll probably see a little bit of haze, Deja.
All right, Matt, thanks so much. Let's get you out the door. If you're traveling I-15 southbound coming in from the Ogden area, we are relatively quiet. Now, of course, if you're traveling through Roy near 56 South, going to see just a little bit of congestion building out of there due to some ongoing restrictions, but thankfully not seeing any major impacts. The big news today is going to be the big travel day. Whether you're hitting the roads or hitting the skies, give yourself some extra time and account for some delays out there as many people will be traveling today. Here's a quick look at your live drive times. 31 minutes from Ogden to the airport, 41 minutes from Provo, 27 traveling in from Park City.
The official name for the Utah Games is Utah 2034. There it is. Congratulations, everyone.
Yeah, there it is. Utah's new Olympic logo welcoming travelers to Salt Lake City. It was unveiled on Monday at the Salt Lake International Airport, marking 3,000 days from the start of the 2034 Winter Olympic Games. Olympic Committee members say that they selected Utah 2034 to include the entire state in the Games. And the font used is meant to represent different geological features of Utah, like the A resembling the delicate arch.
You nervous? What if I beat you, man?
Oh, man. I might have to give the skates to you.
I had a Big Mac last night.
Yeah, watching professional athletes, sometimes it's hard to tell just how good they really are because, you know, they're competing next to other professional athletes. So when it comes to Olympic speed skating, how fast is fast? Well, news specialist Alex Cabrera went to the Olympic Oval to take on an Olympic bronze medalist and the current national record holder. Casey Dawson is from Park City and is training for the Milan Cortina Olympics. And yeah, he's fast. Our Alex Cabrera is not. He timed himself at his fastest lap, 400 meters, 1 minute, 23 seconds. But compare that to an Olympian. While competing last weekend, Dawson's fastest lap time, 28.6 seconds. Meaning if he went his full competition speed, he would have lapped Alex nearly 3.5 times before Alex finished one lap.
It's 100 laps of practice. It's a lot. It's almost second nature. We probably do it with our eyes closed at this point.
Yeah, this is why Dawson is one of the best in the world and getting ready for his second Olympic Games. The Olympic trial is set for January. If he qualifies, it will be straight to Milan. Alex will not be going to the Olympics. All right, a live look to downtown Salt Lake City on this Tuesday morning. If you are traveling today, make sure and be safe. Have a great day, everyone.